Welcome to Begins Doing Good While Doing Business podcast. My name is Lihle, and today we're tackling sustainable engineering in South Africa. And joining me today, I have Christian, and he'll be sharing his personal story with me, as well as helping us dive into this aspect through an engineering perspective. How are you today, Christian?
No, I'm doing well, thanks, and you?
I'm very good, thank you.
Good.
I would love to learn more about Christian's journey before he maybe began with Begin. What did your education look like, perhaps?
Sure. So I grew up in KZN and just outside of Belito in a small holding, and my parents were always very big into education. They didn't go to university, but
They made sure you did.
Yeah, and also from my grandfather, he said, no, we have to get you good education. So after matric, I studied civil engineering at the University of Pretoria.
Oh, really?
Yes, so I did 4 years there, and then during that time I got a bursary from another consulting company. It wasn't Begin, unfortunately. But I wasn't ready to go work immediately after that, so stayed and did a 2-year postgraduate master's in transportation engineering with a focus in rail.
Is there anything particular about rail, that makes you so passionate about it?
I sort of asked myself that question as well when I was going into it, because it really is quite niche. Although we have Transnet, which employs tens of thousands of people, for, let's say, my peers, no one was really looking in that space. But I sort of saw it as an industry that South Africa can really improve on and in. And I went through a period now of a lot of challenges. And I thought, if I can get this done in time and phase it right, I can come out of my studies and with the right level of experience to be part of the change. There's really big change in rail within South Africa. Over the next year, we'll start seeing private operators on our network, which is really a reformed rail system that we're calling it. At the moment, it's very much Transnet that own operate, and now they'll be sharing the network. So we're excited to see how that pans out. It's going to hopefully boost the volumes, and I think facilitate this road to rail shift that's often in the news.
So this road to rail shift, was that by any chance the segue that formed your path rather into Begin? So how exactly did you get into Begin?
Yeah, in many ways it did. I was working for a previous consulting company, and we worked on a lot of large international infrastructure projects in rail. I got an opportunity through our MD, Henk, to join the team as a junior at the time. And really, it was just an amazing opportunity being involved in so many diverse spaces within rail, not just the design, but the logistics side of it and the planning side of it. And that's been really great for me. And we've been able to now take on really leading planning projects and infrastructure projects in the country.
Do any of these projects have any hand maybe in sustainability when looking at engineering?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the one nice thing about rail is it's always it's the most sustainable mode of transportation.
Is it? Yeah.
So in terms of emissions and efficiency, we can't really do much better. As old as it is and as ancient as it feels, it really is an efficient way of moving large volumes over long distances. So there's a big need to grow that. We've got a big demand for logistics in South Africa, a lot of mining exports, and these really carry our economy. And I think by doing it by truck, what we've seen in KZN around the Richards Bay area is a lot of road-based fatalities by trying to push volumes onto road.
Yeah, instead of perhaps using rail as an alternative.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and the roads just can't handle it. You have capacity issues at your ports. These drivers are sitting there for days on end waiting to drop off their load. They're fatigued, and then they get paid per load, so they need to head back to the mine.
Yeah.
And they don't really stop, and it can lead to these really terrible situations that, road trucks definitely have a role to play, and they're not going anywhere, but we need to make that shift.
Are there any projects that you spearheaded in railway?
A number at the moment, some in a more supporting role, some leading them.
Is there anyone you're proud of particularly?
Yeah, I think the big one in the media at the moment is the National Rail Master Plan. So Begin are a JV partner in the team working on that. As we, I think, would have heard in the media and so on, there's the big talks of high-speed rail. So there's a number of corridors that were looked at, but looking at connecting Durban, Johannesburg, Mbombela, Johannesburg, Polokwane. So that's going to really create opportunity for people potentially. We also have, I think, the responsibility to make sure that we don't make it unaffordable for South Africa, because infrastructure carries a cost, but it's exciting to be part of that exploration. And I think where the real need is and where we can really make it work is within our metros. The PROSA systems are, they're really pushing recovery after what has happened in COVID, and some of us may have ridden in the new blue trains. They're really wonderful, and they're moving a lot of people, and they are, in many ways, I feel, support the minibus taxi industry. They can move you over the longer distances, and can really give people a bit more income to sustain themselves and their families.
Has Begin by any chance had a hand in the revival of the Metro Rail?
We are quite involved, or have been over the last 2 years, in the City of Cape Town, assisting them in looking at potentially slightly different ownership structure of the infrastructure, to get to a point where the city has a bigger role to play in supporting the needs of the people. So yeah, it's quite exciting, looking to really boost the volumes more than they've been in the past. And there's, from what we've seen in the analysis, is there's such a big demand. So it's really important that we can get these projects going, and I think also continue to support entities like PROSA to get it to where it needs to be.
I think a big part of that also needs innovation in terms of the engineering aspect. Has Begin had any new innovation in terms of that engineering?
Yeah, we've certainly, I think, tried to lead and support it in many ways. And we sit with a network in South Africa where passenger and freight share the lines. And that leads to a situation where they delay one another. So we're trying to work hard at separating the infrastructure. Also in the master plan, it's something we're going to recommend. So you heard it here first. But it improves safety, it improves the efficiency, so we can really get more freight moved safely and more people moved safely as well. And I think there's also the need to look at changing how the network is structured. As rail was built over the years, development has in many ways developed around the rail system, but then also we have these new communities that have formed and need a reliable mode of transport. So it's also trying to connect those communities. And
you would argue that, you know, your innovation in that area will, of course, help the communities.
Yeah, we really hope so. And I think it's always good to plan. It's then how we implement and make it a success on that front.
Are there any maybe future trends that we might see in the whole transport railway industry?
Yeah, I think we'll just be excited if the existing ones run.
They keep on going.
Yeah, but the PROSA, the new blue train, or the People's Train as they often call it, is a fantastic innovation. And I mean, if you look at like its performance, you know, from a nerdy point of view, it's a sports car. And no, we've all basically developed and manufactured within South Africa. So I think we know what we need to do, and the vision around that. What's missing at the moment is supporting infrastructure to maintain the rolling stock, as we refer to it. So that's in the pipeline for PROSA to implement, and we're hoping to be a part of the depot modernization, as they're calling it.
I would argue that would need a little bit of leadership, you know, into playing with as well. And so I would like to ask you, how is leadership in engineering? What does that look like, and how does that impact teams and people?
Yeah, it's a good question, and also maybe a tough one. But I think it's really having your eye on the bigger picture.
As a leader.
And keeping that in mind the whole time. Because very often engineers, I think, are notorious for delving into the detail about a nut or a bolt. And really, we've had far too many conversations about that, but often it's required. But as soon as you move your eye off what you're actually trying to achieve, the timelines, the budgets, what you're really trying to do in the system, then you lose focus, and I think that's when we run into problems. Also, then the client will have their vision and their objectives and their pressures, and it's trying to put yourself in someone else's shoes.
For a change,
and I think that gives us a good view on what we need to do.
Thanks, Chris, for all the helpful information about railway systems and trains, and you've been a huge pleasure to have.
Thank you.
Till next time, goodbye.